And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Saul Gittleman Park for JumboCast baseball here on this very cold evening, where we have the Tufts Jumbos playing the Babson Beavers. The Tufts Jumbos enter tonight on a 6-game winning streak, having beaten Johnson and Wales University last night 11-5, and the Babson Beavers enter tonight on a 2-game winning streak, having beaten Clark University last night 7-6 in 12 innings. My name is Gabe Gonzalez, and I'm going to be your play-by-play commentator for tonight, and I'm joined by Ethan Grublik, who's going to be on color. Ethan, we have the Tufts Jumbos here who have been on a really great hot streak of late. They've been playing really good complementary baseball. What do you think the keys to the game are for both teams today?
Well, first of all, I think the Jumbos want to see a good outing from their starting pitcher, the senior 6'5" left-handed pitcher, Gavin Brown. He's only made 4 appearances so far this season, been scoreless in 3 of them. The Jumbos have pitched really well this year so far, pitching to the second-best ERA in the NESCAC, only trailing Colby in that category. So that's what's been delivering them wins this season. They're going to want to see a good outing out of him, Gavin Brown, in only his second start of the season. And then on the other hand, for Babson, they've had some star players in their lineups hitting super well, helping them to a red-hot start to this season. Brant Savage, Michael Cook, Tanner Santos, all in the lineup, leading this Babson team in multi-hit games, with Savage having 12, Cook and Santos both having 10. They both delivered last night in the 12-inning victory for Babson over Clark, and Babson will want to see them raking again today against this good Jumbos pitching staff.
You're right. It definitely should be a good game, and welcome to the first pitch of this game. We have Patrick Manning coming up here. And Gavin Brown throws the first pitch for a ball. And Patrick Manning, he's the right fielder. He hasn't had the best batting average, but he's a lot of talent for sure. And Brown missed just a little bit high there for ball 2.
It's an interesting call having Manning hit leadoff instead of the usual batter, Tanner Santos, who's delivered really well in the leadoff spot for Babson this season.
And Brown fires in there right down the middle for strike 1. No, you make a good point, because last night when they beat Clark, Santos was hitting leadoff, so definitely exchange for Babson tonight. And ball 3, and early observation, but Gavin Brown seems to be missing high on a lot of these early pitches so far. And Manning and Brown misses low for ball 4. And now we have the first baseman, Chris Basil, coming up. He's having a fantastic season for the Babson Beavers, the .307 batting average. What do you expect to see from him in this game? And Brown once again fires high for ball 1. Definitely becoming a trend so far in this game with those high balls up in the strike zone.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Basil's had a really strong season so far for Babson. He's only a freshman, yet in 13 of his last 14 starts, he's reached base safely.
No, it should be an observation. Already early in this game, we see Connor Bowman, the catcher, coming out to meet Brown to talk about pitches, because he has missed very high on most of the pitches he's thrown so far. So definitely an adjustment that I think if you're the Tufts Jumbos, you want to correct early on so it doesn't become a problem and let up unnecessary runs because of it.
Absolutely. So far, Brown just missing the strike zone a bit, allowing that first batter walk, leadoff walk.
And, of course, as you mentioned in the intro, he hasn't had many starts, so there's obviously a little bit of a rust, but the talent's there if he can get his good fastballs going. And Brown misses again for ball 2, and apparently that catcher conversation did not help out too much, because that was pretty much identical to a lot of the pitches we saw previously.
Well, we'll see where he goes from here. gets the strike zone.
And that was just a wonderful pitch right down the middle. Really fooled Basil there as he just did not see it coming.
Brown hasn't really had command issues.
And
there's double play.
And a fantastic pitch there to Flavin that he was able to nail down for the out at first base.
Yeah, Flavin just in the right spot to catch that line drive, doubling off the leadoff hitter, Manning, who had taken that lead off first. Easy 2 outs.
Absolutely. We have Brant Savage here, the third baseman, coming up, .351 batting average. He's had a great year for the Babson Beavers. And a really good first pitch there for Brown. Right down the middle. Definitely really fooled Savage there. And there's a ball really right down the middle, but definitely had the velocity there to make sure that that Savage was fooled. And a fantastic start there for Brown to strike out Savage there, and a really nice fastball right down the middle. He did not see it coming there.
Yeah, Savage, who's had the really strong season so far, just going down on 3 straight pitches where he looked at the ball go into the strike zone. And Brown out of this inning, 1-2-3 inning despite allowing the leadoff walk, getting the double play.
Yeah, and coming up here for Babson, we have the picture, number 44, James Clark. He has 6 appearances, 2 games started. Unfortunately, he's a 10.38 ERA, but he clearly has a lot of talent there. 8 strikeouts. What do you expect to see from him in the game today? Obviously, a limited sample size from him in comparison to a lot of the other Babson pitchers. How do you expect him to match up against this very potent Tufts Jumbos lineup?
Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect, but I can tell you that Clark, in his 2 starts so far, did have a really strong start against Roger Williams University, where he pitched 6 scoreless innings and only allowed 2 hits. So he'll hope to replicate that performance today.
No, he definitely will. And obviously, when you see numbers like a 10.38 ERA, they don't look good at first glance. But you really have to properly evaluate a picture. You really have to go sometimes below those very superficial stats and kind of examine the manner of a lot of those outings. Sometimes it can be due to mistakes that fielders make or just having a bad night. But he definitely has a lot of talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does tonight in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Based on his game logs, it seems like he'll either have a dominant outing. Not sure how long it'll last. He did pitch 6 innings in that dominant outing against Roger Williams, but the rest have been pretty short appearances. He's had 2 scoreless appearances, but in the other 4, he's allowed at least 3 earned runs, with 3 earned runs in one game and 4 earned runs in 3 of the others. So I think what we can say is that we can probably expect either a really good outing from this pitcher, or we can expect him to be hit hard by the Jumbos.
Absolutely, and coming up now for the Jumbos, batting first up, Henry Fleckner, center fielder, .284 batting average. And a ball pretty high and low.
Fleckner so far has had a very good start to the season for the Jumbos. In particular, in the series against Amherst, he had 2 clutch hits, which really contributed to them winning 2 games in that series, which was good enough for the series win.
Fleckner hits a foul ball. Yeah, and in addition to that, what do you expect to see from Fleckner in this game in particular? Because obviously he's hitting leadoff in this game. Do you expect him to have a good game as he has in previous games?
For sure. He's been great for the Jumbos, and that's why he's hitting first.
And Fleckner hits up the middle to Perkle, who throws it to Basil for an out. Coming up here for the Jumbos is number 2, Jesse McCullough, the second baseman, .261 batting average. Ethan, what do you expect to see from him in this game?
Well, he's a freshman. He doesn't start every game, I believe, for the Jumbos, but he's getting the start again today. He has had a pretty nice start to the season, hitting .333 with an 800 OPS. Only 4 hits so far.
And high and above McCullough there for ball 2. And another high pitch there for Clark for ball 3 and a hitter's count here. What are you seeing so far from Clark? A lot of high fastballs here, not too many balls right down the middle.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And McCullough gets it to full count here. Ooh, and that was a very close pitch, but McCullough gets to take first base. And up next here we have Jimmy Evans, number 8, right field, .269 batting average. And I know Friday night, during Friday's game, 3 o'clock against Bowdoin, he hit a towering shot to right field to put the Jumbos up in the win they had over Bowdoin. What do you expect to see from Evans in this game? Obviously, he's one of the Jumbos' best hard hitters.
Yeah, he hasn't had the most amazing start to the season in terms of batting average, but he's always a threat to do something when he's at the plate or on the base paths.
And he's able to take second base there as McCullough, and already the Jumbos have a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and that's what the Jumbos have done all year long, terrorizing the opposing team on the base paths, whether it's by advancing on pass balls or stealing bases.
Absolutely. That's been something they've been so good at, stealing bases and not getting caught too many times. And Evans hits a ball all the way to... and thankfully he's safe there.
Yeah, we almost saw a replica of what happened in the top of the first inning with the Beavers lining out to the infield and getting doubled off. But right there, McCullough just sliding back safely head first into second base.
We did, and we have Connor Flavin here, the first baseman, coming up to bat for the Jumbos. And Clark just misses the strike zone there for ball 1. And Flavin fouls that ball for for strike 1. And Clark just misses low there for ball 2. And Clark showing that, you know, he has some good pitches right down the middle, but he's definitely missed a little bit here. And he really blew that fastball there right by Flavin. Really high velocity, high up in the zone there for strike 2. And all the way, and Flavin is out at first base. We'll be back here in a couple minutes. And welcome back here. And we have number 13, Michael Cook, the left fielder here. He's having a really fantastic year for the Babson Beavers, batting 367.
Yeah, like I said, Michael Cook having 10 games with multiple hits so far this season. He's been really great for the Beavers in the
He certainly
final.
has. And Brown is able to follow in there for strike one.
Cook, the senior, standing in with a 367 batting average.
Yeah, he's been really so key for the Babson Beavers this year. Really good hitter. Definitely able to get on the bases.
Then he can do it all. 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 home runs.
And Brown really fools Cook there with that really fast fastball right down the middle. And up now we have number 33, Ryan Noon, the designated hitter, batting 291 on the year. He's been a really good power hitter here for the Babson Beavers.
Yeah, and an interesting story about Ryan Noon. He played for the Jumbos as an undergraduate for 4 years, but now has moved into the Beavers program where he's coached by his uncle, who is the head coach of the Beavers program and has been for the last 21 years.
Yeah, definitely a really interesting tidbit here that he used to play for the Jumbos.
Yeah, he was one of their more important hitters last year. Now he finds himself in the heart of this Beavers lineup.
Yeah, definitely be interesting to see what he does here in the stadium he used to play in. And Brown really fools him there on that sinking ball right down the middle. And another high pitch there for Brown for ball 2.
Noon last season, or no, not last season, in his career with the Jumbos, appeared in 49 games, batting .319.
And Noon hits up there to Flavin, all the way to Brown for the out at first base. And so, nice quick out there for the Jumbos to get Noon out. Obviously, he's been such a good power hitter for the Jumbos, where he used to play, and obviously this year for Babson. And up now we have Ike Kiley, number 4, batting .314. And a fastball right down the middle there for Brown for strike 1. And he hits the ball high up and it drops down. He gets him out at first. No, we save it first.
Yeah, he beat that by some good distance. This is very lucky. Infield was lined back deep because of the 2 outs and no base runners on, so the shortstop Fleischer just wasn't able to get to it in time and make the throw.
Yeah, just not in time. And right here we have Luca Rubin coming up. And Brown misses low there and then in the zone for ball 1. And he's safe. And he's able to successfully steal there. He was able to get a big lead off there at first base, but no issue there getting to second base for the steal.
So the designated hitter and sometimes also the catcher, Kiley, shown his speed on the base paths, able to avoid being thrown out in that rundown.
Yeah, he certainly has. And Brown really fooled Rubin there on that pitch right down the middle. And just a really low fastball there for Brown. Runner in scoring position at second base. Brown trying to strike him out here for out number 2. And he hits it foul. And that was a very loud dent there. Hit a car. You know, Ethan, that can happen here at Saul Gittleman Field. You got to be careful when you park your cars.
Yeah, it happened last night.
And Brown trying to get another quick inning here and get strike 3. Gets into his stance. And a short dribbler there to the catcher, but Connor Bowman is able to keep it in front of him. So the count stays 2-2. 2 outs. And this, Ethan, here would be really big here for the Jumbos to get out of. Continue a really strong start here for Gavin Brown.
Yeah, that's exactly what he would like to see. Put out this inning when there's a runner in scoring position.
Definitely would. And he check swings there. And the second base umpire says he did not go around. And so it becomes full count here.
Yeah, the Jumbos players were about to run off the field, but I agree with the umpire's call there. I'm not sure how he saw it from being over at second base, but I had a pretty good angle on it, and I could tell that Ruben did not go around.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a really good at-bat here. And a really good fastball right down the middle there to strike out Luca Rubin to get the Jumbos out of a little bit of a jam in, but the Jumbos were able to strike him out, and we'll be back in a bit. And welcome back, and up here for the Jumbos, we have number 5, Clay Sewell, the designated hitter.
Yeah, Sowell, one of 2 batters for the Jumbos to hit 3-run home runs last night. He took that all the way over the fence in left field.
Yes, and a very convincing win last night against Johnson and Wales University. An 11-6 win here under the lights as well. And Clark has a low fastball there for strike 2. And this will be a very good start here for Clark.
Yeah, looking to add another scoreless frame to the one that he has already.
Yeah, a little bit low there. And another low pitch there for Clark. Count is 2-2 as Clark is looking to get an initial strikeout here in the bottom of the second. And Sewell fouls that backwards. Not this time out of the ballpark, but and the count's 2-2. And Clark strikes him out. And coming up here is number 16, Ben Leonard, the left fielder, batting .268 in the air. He's definitely been a very talented hitter so far for the Jumbos. Has 2 home runs on the year for the Jumbos. And Ben Leonard hits it to Savage. Savage to Basil for the out at first. And already for Clark, it's quick 2 outs here in this inning, and what is fast becoming a really good pitchers duel so far. I know it's just the bottom of the second inning, but I think both pitchers, we can definitely see a trend of they've been performing pretty well so far. Definitely coaches have to be happy about their choices for this game.
Yeah, and that's not what we saw last night between Tufts and JWU. Runs being scored by both teams immediately to start the game. Here it stays scoreless through the first 3 and counting frames.
Yes, most definitely. And Clark fires ball 1 pretty high. And another foul ball in our direction for strike 2. And Clark here is trying to strike out the side. Trying to get out of this inning. And a high fastball there for ball 2. Count is 2-2.
Yeah, good job by Leonard laying off that off-speed pitch out of the zone.
Absolutely. And count is 2-2. And another foul ball up there, but it looks like it can stay in play, and Clark is trying to get the catch, and he makes it. And that'll end it in the bottom of the second, and the score remains 0-0. We'll be back in a bit. And welcome back here. The top of the third inning, we have number 3, Xander Teatro, the second baseman for the Babson Beavers. And Teatro has to get out of the way there for ball 1.
Yeah, the second baseman has struggled quite a bit at the plate this season, only batting 147 coming into this game.
And a short dribbler there in for ball 2.
And I'm sure life can't be made much harder for him than it is with Brown, the 6'5" left-handed pitcher, facing him in the lefty-lefty matchup.
Absolutely. And he hits a ball there to Fleischer. Fleischer to Flavin at first for the out. First out of the inning. And another quick out to begin an inning for Tufts pitcher here, the top of the third. Definitely both pitchers have done a really good job getting quick and easy outs, not getting to long at-bats. And batting 9th here, Jack Perkle, the shortstop, number 1. And a really good pitch there for Brown, right down the middle of the zone. For strike 1. And just barely misses the strike zone there for ball one.
Perkle, the number 9 hitter, not an everyday starter and has struggled quite a bit at the plate this season as well, hitting 130.
And another ball to Fleischer, and Fleischer to first base to Flavin for the out. And that's out number 2 in this inning.
So Gavin Brown, after struggling with, you could say, the first 2 batters of the game, even though he got the second batter to hit into a double play, struggled a bit with his command in the first at bat, needed a talking to on the mound, has been getting it done now, getting some quick outs in this 3rd inning.
Yeah, he definitely has. And at the strike there to Patrick Manning, who's batting leadoff, number 29, the right fielder. And a ball that got past the catcher there. Lucky there was no one on base there. That would have been a runner going into scoring position. And a very low ball there for ball 2. And that was a very good
Good discipline at the plate, laying.
He played it, but the umpire called it out, so we'll do this again at full count.
Yeah, that was a good call by the umpire. The ball had just dribbled out of bounds. Or
Yeah,
foul, I should say.
it can always be so hard to tell sometimes when you hit a ball just narrowly along the foul line. Never sure if it's going to be fair or foul or not.
Yeah, Flavin attempted to make a play on it, but the ball had just dribbled foul by the time he got to it. Good call by the umpire.
So we'll do it again. Full count here, 2 outs. And he strikes him out. And another quick 1-2-3 inning here for our picture here. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. And welcome back. Bottom of the 3rd inning here. Scores tied 0-0. And we have Patrick Solomon, the 3rd baseman, coming up here, batting .271 on the year.
Yeah, he started the season a bit cold, but he's bounced back in a pretty big way for the Jumbos as they've had this hot streak, winning 12 of their last 13 games.
Absolutely. He's certainly been a key part of those wins. And Clark, a very nicely placed pitch there for strike 2.
The Tufts team batting average coming into this game was only .260, and he's above that mark, so he's bounced back despite a slow start to the season.
No, he certainly has. 1-2 count here. And the umpire checks, but he did hold up, so we'll do it again here at 2-2. And he hits the ball to Pirkle to Basil, and he's able to get a hit there.
Yeah, good infield hit by Patrick Solomon. He has been great on the base paths this season, as has most of the Jumbos lineup, and he could be a threat again. His speed getting him on there to beat out any chance that the shortstop had in making that play. 18 stolen bases on the season, caught stealing 3 times. That's a pretty good record. You'll definitely be looking at him again on the base.
Certainly is. And Clark tries to throw over to Solomon, but is not able to pick him off. And up here we have the shortstop, Ozzie Fleischer, number 12, batting .300, so he's having another very good year, as a lot of the other players in this team are. And Clark throws again the first baseman Basil, to try to pick him off, to try to make sure that, as you mentioned before, the amount of steals that Solomon has had this year really makes it necessary that all pitchers try to make sure that he doesn't try to steal.
And another aspect of that shouldn't be overlooked is the base runners getting in the pitchers' heads. That's what the Jumbos have been doing all year. We've already seen in this at bat, Smith look over and pick off, but he'll allow the runner to go to second there.
Yes, and an uncontested steal there, so Solomon's able to get into scoring position with no outs in the inning. 1-0 count. Taking a very large lead out there at second base. And he shows bunt, and he runs off to first base, and they're able to get him at first base, but Solomon is able to move over to third base, and the Jumbos have the potential first run of the game, 90 feet away from home plate. Very nicely placed bunt there, Ethan, for sure.
Agreed. And that is exactly what you'd like to do as a number 9 hitter in this lineup. Maybe for hitting number 9, you're not one of the best hitters on this team, even though Fleischer does sport a nice 300 average, but really contributing in a big way there, moving Solomon down to third base.
No, absolutely. And we're able to get to the top of the order again with the center fielder Henry Fleckner batting here.
Fleckner with 17 RBIs this season already, coming into this week. Chance to add on here.
Yeah, Fleckner has had, as you said before, there are no weak hitters in this Jumbo team, but Fleckner has certainly been a key cog in the team. And just down and low, but the catcher is able to keep it in front of him to prevent Solomon from scoring from third base. 1-1 count here. And a high ball there for ball 2. And this is definitely the first moment of some strife here for Clark. He's trying to make sure that Solomon doesn't get him from third. And another one that the catcher does such a fantastic job of keeping in front of him.
So a good hitter's count for Fleckner. He'll want to just put the ball in play with there being only one out in this inning, and Solomon over at third base ready to score on contact. But he'll take the walk.
Yeah, Fleckner is able to get the first base here, and we have the second baseman, Jesse McCullough, here with the runners at the corner. And definitely a great opportunity here for Jesse McCullough, who's been such a key cog in this Jumbo's lineup. Very young player, as you mentioned initially. Definitely a good moment here for him to have a good moment here to give the Jumbos their first lead of the game.
Yeah, so far only 1 RBI on the season for McCullough.
And he's running to second base. And he's able to make it. So you've runners at third, runners at second. McCullough at bat. Potential here to potentially drive in 2 runs here, not just 1.
Yeah, that was the Jumbos attempting to do a double steal there with Fleckner running over to second base, but Babson will just allow that, not allow the run to score. That's why the catcher threw over to third base to see if he could get Solomon. Solomon knew that he had to go back to third, even though what they were looking for was for the catcher to throw to second and for Solomon to score.
And he hits it foul. Yes.
And out of play.
Foul and out of play there for count as 1-2. This would really be a big potential out here for Clark if he's able to get McCullough out here.
Absolutely.
And Clark again fires low, and the catcher Noon has really done a fantastic job in this inning here at keeping balls in front of him, making sure that Solomon at third base is not able to come home and score. Definitely done a good job of preventing the run from scoring.
Totally agreed. Noon, the former Jumbo himself, keeping the Jumbos off of the score sheet this time.
McCullough fouls, and that time the ball does not hit a car. Thankfully for the owners of cars at this game. Count is 2-2. Runners at third and second.
Clark definitely looking for the strikeout in this at bat.
And just barely gets a tip on that one. I think it probably would have been ball 3 there.
Yeah, McCullough tried to pull that swing back, but it made contact with his bat. No harm done.
Yeah, definitely a little unlucky, but he's able to stay in the at bat.
We'll take that one high.
Absolutely. Helps you take that one. It's full count now. And he hits the ball to Perkle. Perkle to Basil at first base for the out, but Solomon from third base is able to come home and score and give the Jumbos their first lead of the game. It's 1-0. I think it shows Grube that even if you don't get a hit, you can still be a huge contributor to the team, as he was able to get the sacrifice out there at first.
Yeah, maybe that's not exactly what he was looking for, but it definitely contributes to the Jumbos, giving them that 1-0 lead, just putting the ball in play. The worst thing he could have done would be to strike out or pop up, so he avoided doing that and got an RBI.
Certainly would, and here we have Jimmy Evans, the hard-hitting right fielder for the Jumbos, and he'll certainly like to hit a home run in this at-bat.
Well, I think anyone would want to do that.
Of course, but that's a really nice pitch there for Clark, just barely hitting the corner there. And trying to catch him out at second, but he had no issue there getting back to second base. There was actually no one even covering second base, even if he was too late to the bag. Yeah, Fleckner is definitely taking a big lead out there. Counts 1-2. And a short foul ball. We'll do it again, 1-2. And Clark, he did give up the run in this inning, but I think it's fair to say if he gets out here, he can definitely feel pretty good about himself because he has been pitching a very good game.
I think this is a good opportunity for Fleckner to steal third baseman for the Beavers, lined up very far away from the bag.
That's a very powerful foul ball there for Jimmy Evans, and we'll do it again here. Fleckner at second base. And fires high for the ball. Count is 2-2.
Fleckner so far this season, 12 stolen bases, only caught stealing 1 time.
And even though the ball went into play, it did hit off his leg, so umpire called it a foul ball.
Yeah, Evans showing a little bit of discomfort from fouling it off his right foot.
Yeah, it's definitely not a comfortable feeling.
But he'll do it again with a 2-2 count.
Yep, and this has definitely become a good at bat here with Clark trying to get the out here to end the inning. Bottom of the third. And Evans fouls it off again. Similar location of the foul ball.
Yeah, looking to get his first hit of the ball game. He's locked in on these pitches, but just not making the right contact at the moment. And
I do agree, it would be a good opportunity here for Fleckner, but potentially steal third. And another foul ball there for Evans. What are you seeing Evans do in this at-bat that you think has really been effective to help him stay in it?
Well, of course, fouling it off. He's making contact, and that's what he wants to be doing with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, but of course having to get a hit, not hitting to an out.
And Evans hits a ball high to left field, and that ball is deep.
It's off the wall.
And it's off the wall, and he's able to get into second base. Fleckner's able to score from second, and it's 2-0 here at Jumbos in the bottom of the third. And that was a really powerful hit there by Evans to left field. I thought it was potentially gone there. That's why I didn't want to give the call. But unfortunately, Clark is not able to get out of this inning without allowing only one run. And a really good at bat there for Jimmy Evans, don't you think?
Yes, I totally agree. He didn't pull that ball. He's the left-handed batter, hit it to the left field wall, and we even saw in those foul balls that he wasn't early on these pitches. But there he was making the right contact, still not early on the ball, taking it to the opposite field for a double off the wall, something that the left fielder for Babson just could not get to.
Absolutely. And Connor Flavin up here. And Clark just misses the strike zone there, a little bit high for ball 2. Definitely good opportunity here for Clark to get an out to limit the damage share with Evans at second base. And he really fools Connor Flavin there for strike 1. Definitely showed some really good velocity in that ball. Just totally fooled him. And a high fastball there for strike 2, and the count's 2-2.
Yeah, the pitch from my angle looked a little bit outside perhaps, but catcher Noon doing a good job of framing. He's been great behind the plate so far in this outing.
Yeah, he's had a very good night here, and that just barely misses the strike zone there. You have to think Clark wants that. Wants the strike out there, but it's full count here, and we'll see if he can do it here. And Flavin hits the ball up and foul.
We sometimes have to be a little bit alert in our booth. We're not always having the best angle to look at where these high foul balls are going. We hope we don't get hit by any.
No, we certainly do. Flavin fouls the ball off there. And definitely in this game, we're seeing Clark having no issue with runners at second taking pretty significant leads. I haven't really seen any pickoff attempts in the second baseman's direction. Full count. And a very narrow miss there for Clark, and Flavin's able to take first base, and you have runners at first, runners at second. And you have Clay Sewell, the designated hitter, coming out to bat. I think a pretty good person to potentially do some damage here for the Jumbos, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. He had that 3-run home run last night. Struck out in his first at bat today, but the Jumbos hitters are seeing Clark pretty well in this third inning and could really do some damage here. Clay Sewell looking for consecutive days with a 3-run home run. He has a chance to do it right now.
Absolutely. He was so effective in the Bowdoin series over the weekend, which the Jumbos were able to sweep. He was very key in making sure that the Jumbos were able to get those NESCAC wins. So definitely be interesting to see what happens here. And quick chat with all of the infielders and the pitching coach about how Clark's going to handle this particular at-bat in the bottom of the third inning. The first time he's really had to deal with some adversity here. We'll see how he responds.
Yeah, a couple of walks so far in this inning. I think 3 to be exact. Or no, 2.
And Clay Sewell here with runners at first and second.
But
2 outs.
Batter's seeing it well. Not on that pitch.
That's a low sinker there for ball for strike 1. Taking pretty good leads at first and second are the runners. Two outs. And once again, Noon just doing a fantastic job keeping the ball in front of him. So that was another low ball there by Clark. And just totally blew it right past him for strike 2. Definitely seeing a lot of high velocity on his fastballs here in this at-bat.
Yeah, and the fastballs have been low too, so we'll just having to reach for them and not getting to them.
And Noon is just able to keep it in front of him, and the count is 2-2. And those are unheralded plays, but those are really great at keeping this lead from potentially getting even larger for the Jumbos here, keeping the runners right where they are at first and second. 2 outs. And a thunderball of a foul ball there.
Yeah, Sowell, after swinging and missing at 2 pitches, right on that one, just a little bit too early, but made great contact.
Fantastic contact. If that ball had stayed fair, it definitely would have been at least a run or 2 for the Jumbos. And miss is pretty high up there for full count now. With 2 outs, this is a really pivotal at bat here. Really pivotal picture that Clark's about to throw. Potential between a 2-run game and an even larger lead.
Absolutely. Got him looking, though.
And that's a really key pitch there for Clark. Really just fantastic there. Totally just making sure that Sol wasn't able to get a piece of his bat on that ball at all. And we'll be back in a bit. And welcome back here, top of the 4th inning, and we have Chris Basil, the first baseman, coming up to bat here. Gavin Brown trying to have another strong inning here.
Yeah, Brown mowed down the top of the order the first time through.
Yeah.
Babson with only 1 hit so far, and that was from the bottom of the lineup. Babson's best hitters trying to get going in this 4th inning.
Yeah, he certainly did. Definitely a good pitching performance so far from him. The count's 1-1. And a low sinker that just didn't catch any of the strike zone there for ball 2. And Basil hits the ball foul. The count's 2-2. Gavin Brown looking for a really good start at the top of the 4th inning here. And he hits the ball to Fleischer. Fleischer to Flavin at first for the out.
Yeah, good speed shown by Basil on that out. Really hustled down the line, but that was just too routine for Fleischer.
Too routine. We've seen that. I think it's the 3rd time we've seen a Fleischer to Flavin out in this game so far.
Yeah, and another thing that can be said about that is that Gavin Brown's been doing a good job keeping the ball on the ground and very controllable for the Jumbos infielders.
Most certainly there is. Brown throws a ball for ball 1 to Brent Savage, the 3rd baseman, 0 for 1 in the game so far.
Yeah, 3-run home run last night, though. Just hasn't been able to make an impact yet today.
And that's a very low pitch that he was able to get Savage to swing on there. Just hit too much of the dirt there for ball 2.
Yeah, Brown keeps looking low in that strike zone. Just missed the target there.
Yeah, trying to find the sweet spot of where he can get away with pitching there. And he hits that ball foul for strike 2.
You could say that was a bit of a promising foul ball. Some good contact there. Just needs those hits to straighten themselves out.
No, it certainly was. And Brown once again looking to get another quick out here. The top of the 4th. Just too low. We've seen that a lot of this at bat. Brown trying to make sure he can strike out the guy, but the ball just ends up going too low. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts. Full count here. Trying to get a big out. And walks him. And we saw Brown for the first time in this game have some command issues with walking a guy there. And Michael Cook now, the left fielder, coming up. Michael Cook so far in this game, 0 for 1, as many of the Babson players are, as Brown has had a very good pitching performance so far.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call that command issues as much as just a really good at-bat put together by Brant Savage, who is coming into this game with a .351 batting average. So he's been strong behind the plate and getting on base, whether he's getting hits like the 3-run home run he had last night in the win over Clark, or by getting a walk there.
Absolutely, and he had a really incredible game last night against Clark, the game that took place in Worcester that Babson ended up winning. And he hits the ball up there. And trying to convert a foul play there, a double play was McCullough, but he wasn't able to get it, and both runners are safe at second and first base. That could have ended up being a double play there, but instead of getting, 1 out or even 2 outs, you got no outs there. So a little bit of an unfortunate error there, but as Ryan Noon now comes up to bat, the designated hitter. Ryan Noon, the really good catcher for Babson that's been so key for them in this game in terms of preventing any additional runs or stopping balls from getting past him. And Ryan Noon hits a towering foul ball there to the left field.
Yeah, a real good chance with only 1 down and 2 runners on after that error.
Yeah, and definitely very unfortunate for Brown because he's still been pitching very well in this inning. Just got the walk, had an error there by McCullough. And he hits the ball to Flavin. Flavin there, and is able to not get the foul play, the double play. He was safe at first there, but able to get 1 out. Runner went to third base. You have 2 outs now in this inning here. And even though this inning has not quite gone the way that Tufts has wanted, they can still potentially get out of this with too much damage being done.
Yeah, that was a difficult ball to be turned for a double play that was just hit there by Babson. Tufts made a good attempt on it, just couldn't get the runner. So now runners at first and third and 2 outs.
Yeah, with Ike Kiley now, the designated hitter, up to bat. He has a .314 batting average on the year. He's had a very good year for them. 1 for 1 in the game already, so he's already proven that he can get a hit off of Brown. That looked low, but the umpire called it for a strike. And the count is 0-2, and Brown has a really good chance here of striking him out here. Runners at the corner. And fouls the ball slightly out of play. 0-2 count here. And if you're Babson, you have not gotten a run in this inning, despite having a really good, I'd say, inning so far off of Brown. Definitely big at bat here for Kiley.
Yeah, but yet again, Brown a little bit lucky to not already be out of this inning.
And a high ball there for ball 1. 1-2 count. No, you're right. He's definitely been unlucky. We saw two plays there that went to McCullough that could have been turned for double plays that weren't. Could have already been out of this inning, but we'll do it again here. And Kiley had to back away from that pitch a little bit. It was definitely a little bit inside. 2-2 count. Kiley hits another ball. You've really seen in this inning so far, a lot of the Babson hitters really battling so far away in their at-bats. Definitely being able to make contact with Babson, with Brown's pitches.
Yeah, I like the Jumbos in that last half inning. Babson seeing the ball a little better here, though they didn't record a hit in this inning yet.
And Kylie hits that ball out to Leonard. No, to Fleckner for the out. And the Jumbos were able to get out of that inning with no extra damage being done. And we'll be back in a bit. And welcome back here. The Jumbos, number 16, Ben Leonard up to bat, the left fielder. And Clark misses low there for ball one. And a really good strike there, right down the middle. And Clark, he had a little bit of a rough inning last time, but still having a good game, trying to make sure no further damage is done. As Leonard hits a foul ball there.
Yeah, you could say he did a good job in the end to get out of that inning with only 2 runs allowed.
He certainly did. Could have been far worse. And just totally throws that one right past Leonard for the strikeout there.
Yeah, 2 consecutive strikeouts for Clark, so he's bounced back in a big way after allowing 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, he certainly has. And Connor Bowman, the catcher, 0 for 1 in this game so far. Trying to give the Jumbos a bigger lead than they already have as he hits the ball. Is it going to stay in play or not? And it does not. Just barely gets out of the ballpark here for strike one. Bowman's been a very good catcher for the Jumbos so far this year. Been a big part of the team. High fastball there for a strike. And a quick 0-2 count. And Clark has a good opportunity here to get the 2 outs already. And just misses low there. 1-2 count. And he hits a ball out the left field there, and he's looking for 2, and he's going to have to stop at first, but that's a really good hit there by Bowman. A very long, far-away single, but a nice start for the Jumbos here after that quick strikeout by Leonard.
Yeah, I think pretty fair for him to just stay at first based on that. The center fielder for Babson.
Yeah, 1
Luca
out.
Rubin doing a good job to get over there and cut off any chance that Bowman had at advancing to second base.
Absolutely, 1 out. No need to risk anything. And that's in there for ball 1. Patrick Solomon, the third baseman, up at bat. Patrick Solomon's 1 for 1. Scored a run in the previous inning. And Patrick Solomon hits the ball out to center field to Ruben, and Ruben's able to make the out. And we have 2 outs in the inning. And up to bat now, we have the shortstop, Ozzie Fleischer. Ozzie Fleischer in this game so far.
Yeah, had that bunt to advance Solomon to third base in the last inning. Just this time, Solomon not able to get on base and start a rally like he did last inning.
Yeah, not quite yet. And you can see Bowman there is trying to think about when he wants to steal potential. As we mentioned at the beginning, this Jumbo's team is so good at stealing bases. They've been so good at that all year long. It's a high strike up there for 0-2, and there are 2 outs in this inning, so Clark can get out of this inning pretty quickly.
Yeah, then Jumbo's with stolen bases up and down the order all over the field. Bowman the catcher with 4 so far this season.
And that ball just narrowly misses there, and the count's 1-2. Really, if Clark's able to get out of this inning, I mean, that'll be 3 out of 4 innings in which he's pitched really pretty flawless innings of no-run baseball. It just misses low and narrowly, and Noon's able to keep the ball from going past him to keep Bowman at first base and prevent him from going to second. Counts 2-2, 2 outs. Bowman at first base. And he hits that ball just narrowly foul.
I wouldn't say narrowly.
A little bit hard to tell from our vantage point here. I think you had a better viewpoint.
I would say narrowly avoiding hitting any cars.
Narrowly avoiding what we saw earlier in the game when a very loud smash occurred in the parking lot. And we're seeing a catcher's interference call here, a very rare call to see in college baseball, and thus Ozzie Fleischer is able to take first base, and you have to think that's really bum luck there for Clark. He had a really good at bat there. He was throwing a lot of good pitches, potentially in the position of getting Fleischer out. Instead, it's runners at first, runners at second, 2 outs, but top of the order now Fleckner, and the potential of the Jumbos expanding on their 2-run lead.
Yeah, that's the first mistake we've seen Ryan Noon make from behind the plate. He has been very strong defensively so far this game. Just not there, costing his team a potential out and costing his pitcher a strong inning where he would have already been out of it.
Absolutely, and I was wondering what the umpire's initial call was there, because I actually did not see the catcher's interference, but it became clear to me.
I did see it, so it was the correct call.
Okay.
And there was very justifiably no argument from either team about it.
Fair enough. 1-1 count, 2 outs here. Clark still has a chance to get out of this inning unscathed. And Fleckner really has to bend back from potentially getting hit by that inside ball there. 2-1 count. Runners at first and second. Fleckner at bat here. Fleckner hits the ball. The runners have to go back to first and second. 2-2 count here. Great opportunity here for Clark to get out of the inning. And the catcher, Ryan Noon, does a really good job keeping that ball in front of him, preventing the runners from getting to second and third.
Yeah, I would say that a lot of the pitches that Noon has gotten in front of have been pretty easy. That one I don't think was, so props to Noon.
Absolutely. Full count here. And that is a really big strikeout there for Clark. Just totally throwing the ball past Henry Fleckner. We'll be back in a bit. And welcome back here in the top of the 5th inning here with the Babson Beavers trying to come back in this game.
Yeah, right now Luca Rubin stepping to the dish. Gavin Brown out for another inning of work so far, 4 scoreless, only 1 hit allowed.
Yeah, Luca Rubin 0 for 1 in this game so far. As Brown has a nice fastball right down the middle for strike 1. And just totally blows that one past. That ball had a lot of velocity on it, and Gavin Brown has a quick opportunity here to get a strikeout. And a short dribbler there into the catcher for ball 2. And yeah, Gavin Brown out for the top of the 5th inning. It'll be interesting to see how many innings he actually goes in this game because he's been pitching pretty well. He misses low for full count. Last thing Brown wants here in the top of the 5th is to walk a guy right away. Don't want to give this Beavers team too much life. And Brown strikes him out.
Yeah, really painting that edge. Rubin thought that he possibly had a walk there, was making his way over towards first base, but the umpire called him out. Now he walks his way to the dugout.
And now we have Xander Tiator coming up, second baseman, 0 for 1 in this game. And a pitch that just narrowly missed there for ball 1. Misses low for ball 2. One out in the inning.
I think another good fact to point out is that ball goes foul, is that Brown at most has only pitched 2 innings in an outing this season, but right now he's out for the top of the 5th, having started this game. So he's been very strong so far, and this is his strongest outing of the season for sure.
Absolutely. Very small sample size coming into the game, but certainly he's impressed the Tufts coaching staff, I'm sure of that. If that ball goes in low for ball 3, certainly Brown does not want to walk him with 1 out in the inning. And he hits that ball foul. Full count here for Tiator, trying to start the inning off strong for the Babson Beavers. And he hits that ball over to McCullough. McCullough to Flavin for the out. And now there are 2 outs in the inning. And just another example of Brown getting hitters to hit the ball into the infield where the fielders are able to make outs for, quick and easy innings. That's what he's been doing all game, I'd say.
Yeah, there's been no exact recipe for Brown to be getting these outs, but has mostly involved striking out batters as well as allowing routine ground balls for the infield.
No, he certainly has, and Jack Perkle, the shortstop, comes up to bat here. He's 0 for 1 in this game. And a high ball up there for ball 1. 2 outs in the inning. It'd be very nice for Brown in this top of the 5th to have another 1-2-3 inning to keep the Jumbo's 2-run lead intact. That ball's low. 2-1 count. And he hits that ball, and Fleischer is able to get to it, but not in time to Flavin, and Perkle's able to get a base hit out of that. As we go to the top of the order again with Patrick Manning, the right fielder, coming up to bat. He's 0 for 1 in the day. And Fleischer almost able to get that ball, but just wasn't able to throw it to Flavin in time for the out.
Yeah, and that's great work done by Perkle, a batter who has really struggled at the plate this season, but using his speed and really whatever he can to just get a hit out of something that really, yeah, he should have had a hit out of that, but Fleischer did a good job tracking over that ball, just not enough time to get out Perkle at first base.
Fleischer almost made an incredible defensive play out of that, but just a little bit too late on the throw, unfortunately. And Bowman tried to frame that as a strike, but umpire will call it. It's 2-0. Runner at first, 2 outs in the inning.
It'll be interesting to see if Babson sends Perkle.
It will. He's definitely very speedy. Showed that there.
Yeah.
2-1 count.
Bowman has been a very good defensive catcher in the NESCAC for the Jumbos.
No, he certainly has.
He's been respected that way really for as long as I can remember.
And that is a really wonderfully placed pitch on the outside of the strike zone there for strike 2. 2-2 count here.
Now with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning, though, it might be time for Babson to take some risks.
Definitely be something to watch as Gavin Brown is able to strike him out there, and we'll be back in a bit. So we here at the Jumbo. Sorry about that. Do the next inning as the count is 1-0. For ball 2, low ball there by Clark. Jesse McCullough's up to bat here. And he just throws that pitch right by McCullough. Very nicely, nice velocity in that pitch there. McCullough 0 for 1 on the day.
Yeah, with a walk in that inning where the Jumbo scored a run. Or 2 runs, I should say. He scored one of them, I believe.
Low pitch there by Clark to make the count 3-1.
Actually, I'm incorrect. He did not score.
And a slow dribbler there to make it ball 4, and the speedy McCullough gets to get on base here. Now Jimmy Evans coming out to bat. As we saw at his previous at-bat, he had that double there to help put the Jumbos in a good position. And it looks like they're taking Clark out of the game. Looks like they'll be putting in a new picture here. Number 11. Number 11, Adam Smith is the picture coming up here. He'll be the new picture, and I think you have to say, Ethan, I think Clark had a very good outing overall, allowing those 2 runs, but still did a great job of keeping the Babson Beavers in this game. He should definitely be definitely a lot of good things to talk about there.
Yeah, I think he did a good job of limiting any damage in that 1 inning where the Jumbos did do damage and scored 2 runs. And I think Babson took him out at the right time. They saw that he didn't quite have his command in this inning. But instead of taking him out of the inning where he experienced a bit of trouble, allowing the Jumbos to rally, they got another good inning of work out of him, and now Adam Smith.
And now the new pitcher,
the pitcher for Babson.
Yes. And now the new pitcher here, Adam Smith. 2.57 ERA on the year, 3 appearances, 1 game started, 1 win. Definitely a lot of talent here. He hasn't had too much game time, but definitely been utilized pretty frequently by the Babson Beavers. It'll be interesting to see what he does so far. After Clark had a very good outing so far, definitely be interesting to see what other pitchers potentially the Babson Beavers use here in relief.
Yeah, I think Smith is one of the Beavers' stronger pitchers right now, sporting a 2.57 ERA in 3 appearances. Got the 1-0 record despite being a reliever.
Yes.
So he has not been a thorn in the side of the Beavers when he's been on the mound. He's been very good for them.
And as I said before, Jimmy Evans now coming up to bat, who at his previous at-bat had that wonderful double out to left field that put the Jumbos in a very good position here. The new pitcher, Smith. And Noon trying to frame it there, but umpire calls it for ball 1.
Yeah, so far Evans with the only extra base hit in this game. Looking to do some more damage here.
And McCullough is able to make it to second base standing there on the pass ball. And already the Jumbos have a runner in scoring position in the bottom of the 5th inning here.
Yeah, and they won't need Evans to get a double to get an RBI now. The single should do the trick.
No, it certainly should with the speedy McCullough at second base. Definitely an opportunity for the Jumbos to get some extra insurance runs as we enter into the latter innings of this game. And Smith narrowly misses low. I'll be interested, Ethan, to see if we get the speedy McCullough at second base and the Jumbos trying to take a bigger lead than they have now. Do you send McCullough at third base? What do you think? I think it's a risk worth taking.
Yeah, I think so too, because of how far we see Babson's third baseman away from that bag.
Clearly, the Tufts coaching staff is giving him the green light to take a very large lead out at second base, and the Babson Beavers, curiously, are not having anyone cover second base.
Yeah.
There's a foul ball there. Full count, 3-2. Good opportunity here for Smith to cement his standing in this game with potential strikeout of, as you said, the only Jumbo in this game was hit an extra base hit, Jimmy Evans. Runner at second base, McCullough. And just narrowly missing sinker there. And Evans is able to get the first base. And already Smith is in some trouble with runners at first and second base. Connor Flavin, the first baseman, now coming up to bat. Connor Flavin, the first baseman, 0 for 1 in this game so far.
Yeah, it can't be easy when your first task is to face Jimmy Evans. And right there, Smith allowing the walk.
Yeah, but he has a good pitch right there for strike 1. No, definitely Evans is not the player on the Tufts Jumbos lineup that you want to face first. Definitely a very dangerous, lethal hitter that. Change up there. That misses for ball 1.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have even said that it was a bad at-bat for Smith to be facing. He did record 2 strikes against Evans. Didn't really allow anything hit hard, just allowing
and
the
he
walk.
hits it up in the air there. Third baseman Savage trying to make the play, and he does get the out for out 1. And Flavin has to go back to the dugout, and now we have the designated hitter, Sewell, coming up. Clay Sewell, 0 for 2 in this game so far.
Yeah, 2 strikeouts, so he'll look to avoid those struggles. Hopefully put some runs on the board for the Jumbos with 1 runner in scoring position, 2 on base. And yet again, another opportunity with 2 on base for Sewell. He had that opportunity in his last at-bat where he struck out.
And a double steal there for the Jumbos, and he's out. What a fantastic play there by Noon, getting the runner out at third base.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, the Jumbos have been very good on the base paths so far this season. Lots of success stealing bases, but no success there as Noon makes a fantastic play to throw out the runner at third. One runner does advance to second, but the Jumbos having another out on the board. That makes 2 for Seoul.
Noon able to keep the ball in front of him there. 2 balls, two outs in the inning. Sewell off the bat here, trying to extend the Jumbos' lead here. He hits a foul ball that just narrowly misses getting out of here.
And so Seoul will not have another opportunity at a 3-run home run like he had last night.
And Jimmy Evans at second base. Changeup just narrowly misses up in the zone. Hitters count here, 3-1. This is a huge pitch here coming up for Smith. And what a perfectly placed pitch there. Caught Sewell looking there. And it's full count here. Trying to keep the Jumbos' lead from expanding to any more runs than the 2 they already have is Smith here. And he walks him. And once again, you have runners at first and second base here, with Ben Leonard coming up to bat. Ben Leonard, so far in this game, he's 0 for 2. As you said before, I'm sure Leonard and Sewell are both hitters for the Jumbos that are probably happy to see a different picture, I'd say.
Yeah, so 2 walks so far in this inning by Smith, but that's not to say he didn't make the Jumbos batters battle for those walks.
Certainly. Still definitely some command issues we've seen from him so far in this inning. It'll be interesting to see how he adjusts.
That breaking ball does find the strike zone, though.
Perfectly placed.
Catches.
He'll definitely want to do more of those.
The batter looking.
Keep him more in the zone. And he strikes him out there looking. And what a fantastic pitch there by Adam Smith to keep the Jumbos' lead at 2. That's fantastic bullpen pitching there, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. And welcome back here as the Tufts Jumbos have a new pitcher here. Jack Schwartz, 4.05 ERA. Definitely been one of the Jumbos' better relief pitchers on the year. As he hits the ball right up the middle, and already put the Babson Beavers in a good position here against the new pitcher. All in all, though, Ethan, I think you have to say that Gavin Brown, fantastic outing, giving up no runs, really quick and easy out at-bats he had, striking guys out.
Yeah, never really anything that was in question when Gavin Brown was pitching. He was totally secure.
And Basil was able to take second base with no throw from Bowman. And already, Babson Beavers have runner in scoring position at second base. In a good opportunity here to potentially score some runs here. Brent Savage up at bat here, third baseman. Bowman trying to frame that pitch there for Schwartz, but count is 2-0.
Yeah, not enough can be said about how good Gavin Brown's outing was, especially as we see the trouble that Babson is giving.
I think you have to say. 3-0 count. 2 runners now get on base. Definitely want to try to find a way to get an out any way here possible.
Yeah, so far Babson
Get the out at second base, and Basil will have to go back to the dugout. That's the second pickoff attempt we've already seen in this game. So there are 1 outs now in this inning. I think Schwartz probably wanted that one, but Savage is going to head off to first base, and now we'll see the left fielder, Michael Cook, significantly against Brown. So a lot of the hitters did for Babson. A really good ball there. 1 out in the inning.
Yeah, very fortunate for Schwartz to get one of the outs in this heart of the Beavers order by getting them on the base paths. I know they've been a lot harder to get out when they're at the plate. So Schwartz right now with an out that the Beavers really could have avoided with a little bit more alertness on the base paths.
Absolutely. So critical to make sure that you're, as we're just talking about pickoff attempts, Schwartz tries to replicate what he did a few pitches earlier to get an out in this inning. 1-1 count. And just narrowly hits the ball foul there. There's Michael Coates in this inning. Schwartz will want to try to put himself in an even better position. That was would look like a strike there, but count is 2-2.
Yeah, and basically another thing I'm saying is that these Babson hitters so far aren't having any trouble seeing Schwartz's pitches, so he's been very fortunate to get one out.
And he hits the ball out to right field to Evans, and Evans throws the ball to the infield, but Cook is able to get a hit. Cook at first base. You already have Savage at second base, and now you have the designated hitter, number 33, Ryan Noon, coming up to bat. The catcher, I mean. Ryan Noon coming up to bat.
Yeah, and a fantastic chance to do some damage against the Jumbos, possibly even deliver the lead for the Beavers against this former team.
Fantastic chance, and quite a story that would be. As Schwartz just totally blows right past him with some high velocity on that fastball down the middle.
Yeah, Noon a bit late, swung under the fastball by Schwartz.
Runners at first and second, 1 out. And trying again for the pickoff attempt, but he's able to get back to second base.
I'd say good job by Fleischer there to prevent the ball from getting past him and trickling into center field. That could have allowed the runners to advance. That's typically why pitchers don't like to have to turn all the way around and attempt to pick off at second base.
And once again, Noon just a little bit late on that fastball there by Schwartz. Good pitch by him. And the count's 0-2, 1 out. Trying to make sure that no runs are scored in this inning by the Babson Beavers.
Yeah, good at bat so far from Schwartz.
And he totally just gets. And He's safe getting back to first base as Noon struck out on that sinker that hit the dirt before it got to the plate. And now we have coming up Ike Kiley, the designated hitter. 2 outs in the inning, first and second. Still a good opportunity for the Babson Beavers to potentially get some runs on the board. Just misses.
Yeah, very encouraging strikeout there from Jack Schwartz. Got Noon to swing and miss it 3 separate pitches during that at-bat, which we hadn't seen with the previous 3 batters that he'd faced. So Schwartz bouncing back in a big way to get the second out.
Certainly did. Schwartz just narrowly misses on that ball 2 call. Ike Kiley 1 for 2 in this game. Trying desperately to break through this jumbo pitching staff here. 2 outs. A short dribbler as the runners are able to get the second and third here. And if you're Schwartz, you're trying to do anything possible to here to make sure that
And they'll intentionally walk him here.
Intentionally walk him, and so they're going to intentionally load the bases here for Luca Rubin. The center fielder, Luca Rubin, in this game is 0 for 2. A good opportunity here for him to really open up this game for his team in a big way.
Yeah, I think this is the first real chance that Babson has had to do some damage in this game because Gavin Brown pitched 5 stellar innings. Really didn't allow multiple base runners to get on for very long. And now the Jumbos will have a chat at the mound.
The Jumbos will have a chat at the mound, and it's I do wonder how you approach this, because you obviously want to make sure that you don't walk in because that'll score a run. But the last thing you want to do is give him too many pitches right down the middle, and then give him the possibility to get even more than 1 run that would score based off of a walk. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly Schwartz and his catcher tries to balance that as we go to this really pivotal at bat in the game so far. Certainly the biggest of the game for, I'd say, either team.
Yeah, it may depend on Rubin's strengths as a batter as compared to some of the other Babson batters, but I think Schwartz would want to replicate what he did in that at bat against Ryan Noon.
Schwartz, once again, just narrowly misses that ball. Has not been able to get that call so far in his pitching appearance here.
Yeah, and sort of a nerve-wracking thing if you're a pitcher, got the bases loaded, throwing a first pitch ball in the next at-bat. But
and
great off-speed stuff there.
Able to get Rubin missing there. And it's 1-1, bases loaded. Good opportunity here for Schwartz to get out. And high stuff there. 2-1. Trying desperately to make sure that he is able to find the zone. Doesn't want to walk another guy here.
Rubin looking pretty comfortable, laying off some pitches that weren't quite in the zone.
And once again, just narrowly misses. These are, sometimes it really depends on what the umpire's strike zone is, because these are not bad pitches. They're just narrowly missing, and that sometimes can be the difference between a strikeout and a walk. 3-1 count here, 2 outs, bases loaded. Huge pitch coming up right here. And Schwartz just walked Rubin. And now the game has become 2-1 as Cook is able to come in to score. And Teatro comes up now with the bases loaded again. Babson Beavers needing just 1 run to tie the game. Potential to do even more damage if he's able to get a single or a double here. And a good first pitch here, 0-1. Bases loaded. He just totally blows that ball right past Teatro does Schwartz. 0-2 count. big opportunity here to make sure that the Jumbos enter the bottom of the 6th with their 1-run lead still intact. Bases loaded here. And that is a huge strikeout there by Schwartz to make sure that the Jumbos lead stays at 2-1. And we'll be back to you in a bit. And we here at JumboCast during the baseball games have a little tradition at the Mascot game where we like to compare the Tufts Jumbo versus the mascot of the opposing team. So obviously the opposing team in this game is the Babson Beavers. So Ethan, this should be a pretty obvious one, I think, but who do you think would win? An elephant or a beaver?
Yeah, I think I'm quite the expert when it comes to these mascot comparisons.
Of course.
And here it is a bit more obvious than we've had in the past. The elephant definitely takes the beaver down. As you can see on our graphic, Jumbo the elephant, a very well-known elephant back in his day, died tragically in the 1880s, but weighed an astonishing 13,588 pounds, only compared to the 40 pounds that a beaver weighs.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really all you have to consider. The beavers, with great teeth,
I think you're
to
completely
do some damage, but it's just not enough against such an outsized opponent.
I think you're completely right. Couldn't agree more with you. Now in the bottom of the 6th inning here, Tufts Jumbos had their lead cut in 2 by 1 run. They're still leading 2-1. As Smith is trying to make sure that he doesn't let up any more runs, give his offense the best opportunity here. Connor Bowman hits the ball high and deep.
That should be gone.
And that ball is gone. And Connor Bowman, fantastic home run far and deep to left field. And talk about a response from the Jumbos here, making sure that they restore that 2-run lead and really making sure that, you know, no matter what, you're giving your pitcher Schwartz in the next inning a 2-run lead to work off of. I mean, just a fantastic opening at bat there for Connor Bowman to begin the bottom of the 6th, don't you think?
Yeah, that's just what the doctor ordered. Babson responded against Schwartz, giving him a lot of problems, scoring 1 run. But right off the bat, Bowman putting the Jumbos back on top with that 2-run lead.
And Patrick Solomon bunts and throws to Basil at first base for the out. Does the third baseman Savage. And I wonder a little bit about the bunt call there. I wonder why you do it with no with nobody at first. I mean, obviously, if it had gone for a hit, it would have made sense. But a little bit surprised to see a bunt there after the home run. But
yeah, maybe trying to catch the Beavers' defense a little bit off guard. Maybe they were a bit asleep after allowing that home run and after a pretty long last half inning. Right now, we see the Beavers' third baseman lined up.
And Ozzie Fleischer hits the ball high and deep to left field, and the left fielder Cook is able to catch it.
Yeah, so not hit quite as high and deep as Bowman's homer earlier in this inning. That's good for the second out, recorded pretty quickly after allowing that leadoff home run.
Yeah, you have to say, obviously Smith allowed the 1-run home run, but you know the last 2 at bats have been pretty good for him. 2 outs in the inning. At the top of the order again here for the Jumbos, Henry Fleckner. 0 for 2 in this game so far, center fielder.
I'm not sure if I'd finished what I was saying, but I think we see the Beavers' third baseman lined up a bit deep, and that could have been the reasoning behind Solomon making the call to try and bunt for a base hit there.
No, it could have been, and oftentimes, like, you know, you see third basemen oftentimes make a mistake that they're not able to get the ball in.
Yeah, I think it was just Solomon made a little bit too much contact with the ball on that bunt. That's why it rolled straight to the third baseman, who didn't have to track that far in.
And he hits the ball out to center field, and Fleckner is able to get in for a walk-up single here with 2 outs in the inning. As McCullough now comes up to bat, the runner at first.
Yeah, just a solid piece of contact there by Fleckner to get the single to short center field.
And now they're going to want to talk to Smith. And looks like they're going to be bringing in a new pitcher now.
Yeah,
Looks
Smith
like
getting hit a bit hard in this inning. One fly out to left field, which followed the solo home run. Just allowed a single to Fleckner. His outing is done.
Yes, it is. And it looks like it's going to be the pitcher. Looks. Theodore Dimitro now is the pitcher for the Babson Beavers. Dimitro on the year for the Babson Beavers. Only 1 appearance, actually. He hasn't had too much time to pitch. 1.2 innings so far pitched, 1 strikeout. Be interesting to see what he does in this really pivotal point where the Babson Beavers want to make sure that they don't give up any more runs. Don't give up any more runs so that they can keep themselves in this game. The last thing you want is for this very good, tough pitching staff to give them even more of a lead going into the top of the 7th, don't you think?
Yeah, not much to say here about the new pitcher, Theodore Dimitru, for the Beavers. The Beavers' first left-handed pitcher of today's game. And he's being thrown in to the fire immediately. Probably one of the Beavers' harder matchups on the season because they don't face the NESCAC usually. This is an out-of-conference matchup. NESCAC baseball usually very strong. NEWMAC, I would assume, not as strong.
Yeah, no, and now coming up to bat, we have Jesse McCullough coming up to bat. Pivotal moment here for the new pitcher. Ball inside there, ball 1. Runner at first. Potential 2-out rally here for the Jumbos to expand the lead even further from Connor Bowman's 1-run home run. Strike there, 1-1 count.
Yeah, and I think this confirms that Smith's substitution out of the game wasn't based on any pitching advantage that the next pitcher would have. This is a lefty-righty matchup.
And he hits the ball up to the shortstop, who's able to throw it over to Basil for the out. And Dimitro comes in and does his job, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. Bowman's able to keep in front of him for ball 2, 2-2 count. New pitcher trying to find his spot, Donato. And Donato strikes him out. A fantastic first at bat there for him to really build some confidence and get the first out of this inning here in the top of the 7th. Now we have top of the order again for the Babson Beavers, number 29, Patrick Manning up to bat. Patrick Manning so far in this game, 0 for 2. Be interesting to see how he adjusts to the new picture. And that ball just glances off of Bowman's glove right to the backstop for ball 1. And a very good ball, really tries to ease his way into the game. 1-1 count, 1 out. And Manning was trying to check his swing right there, and he was able to, so counts 2-1. And Manning hits the ball foul to left field. Very high and deep there. 2-2 count here. No runners on. This would be a great opportunity here for the Babson Beavers to try to start a rally here to tie or take the lead. The top of the 7th here. And Patrick Manning hits a ball high and deep to center field. Gets past the center fielder, Fleckner, and he's able to get the second. He's able to get the third, and he's going to walk in, diving in safe. And a fantastic triple there by Patrick Manning, and a really wonderful start for the Babson Beavers as they try to tie or get the lead in this inning here. Really good base running, and he really showed his speed on that triple out the center field.
Yeah, and it was definitely the right call. Made that call all the way, no hesitation, just hustling around second base, sliding head first into third.
Yeah, and I thought Fleckner...
Great job reading that ball out in center.
Yeah, and I thought Fleckner initially had a play out there in center field, but it totally just soared over him. For strike 1 there. Now up to bat Chris Basil, the first baseman. Basil in the game is 1 for 3. Just blows it right past him. And once again, just as in the previous inning, Babson has a really good opportunity to cut into this 2-run Tufts Jumbo's lead, get it down to 1 run. Runner 90 feet away from home plate at third base. And he fouls that ball, hits the netting, 0-2. 1 out. Runner at third. This is a really, really big at-bat here for Donato. Just trying to make sure that no additional runs here are scored with 1 out. 1-2 count here, 1 out. Another low pitch there by Donato. One out here. Trying to make sure he finds his placement here is Donato. And he hits the ball just foul.
Yeah, so after falling behind 0-2, Basil putting together a good at-bat. Looking at 2 balls, now fouling 1 off.
Absolutely, and he's been such a good hitter on the year for the Babson Beavers. It's really come up big in a lot of situations just like this where they really needed him to. 2-2 count, 1 out, and he hits the ball up the Fleischer, and it bounces off of Fleischer, and a run scores. And once again, as in the previous inning, it's 3-2 as Basil is able to reach first base.
Yeah, and you could say speed kills. 2 at-bats ago, we saw the Babson hitter going all the way around second to get that triple. And now just a bounced ball to the shortstop. Basil really hustling down the line, trying to make a quick play but the run is allowed to score.
And he hits the ball out to McCullough. McCullough makes a really good play and throws to Flavin for the out.
Yeah.
That was a really good play there by McCullough, just making sure that his positioning was right. Off balance throw to Flavin for first base. I mean, not much better than that.
Yeah, I think the run actually would have scored on the, well, now 2 at-bats ago. I think it would have scored either way, but Basil's speed out of the box was so great that it just caused Fleischer to have to rush and not be able to get any outs. But right now we got 2 outs.
I think you're right. In there for a strike to Michael Cook. Michael Cook in the game so far. 1 for 3. Runner on second, 2 outs here. Donato's pitch is low for ball 1. Donato, he let up the run, but last thing he wants to do is allow the game to be tied. Still have a 1-run lead. Trying to maintain it as Schwartz did in the previous inning. 2 outs here.
Cook hit the game-winning home run in the top of the 12th last night at Clark. So here's a chance for another clutch hit late in the game.
A chance that would, if he hit a home run here, potentially replicate what he did last night and giving the Babson Beavers a lead here. Be interesting to see what he can do. 2-1 count. 2 outs. And just narrowly, Michael Cook just narrowly fouls off that pitch to the backstop. It's a good way of staying in the staying at the at bat, making sure you live to fight another day here. 2-2, 2 outs. Big opportunity here for the Beavers. Donato's pitch is to Fleischer. Fleischer to Flavin at first base is out. And although letting up 1 run, Donato is still able to do his job and not relinquish the lead. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. And welcome back here in the bottom of the 7th inning, and we have a new pitcher here for the Babson Beavers. Matt Malone is up for them, 8 appearances, 6.23 ERA on the year. So not too many appearances for him, as Jimmy Evans is up to bat. With the Jumbos lead now down to one, thanks to the Babson Beavers' previous run they scored in the inning.
Yeah, the Jumbos were able to jump out to a quick 2-run lead after giving up a run in the previous inning. Now they'll have to do it again, once again up only 1 run.
And Malone is low there for ball 2. 2-1 count. Evans trying to replicate what he did a few at-bats ago, getting that double. And he hits the ball to the first baseman, to the pitcher. And what a fantastic dive there by Evans, and he is safe at first base. And that was weirdly hit ball there by Evans. It didn't seem like the Babson Beavers were in the correct position to defend it and get the out there. And thankfully Evans was fast enough in order to dive and get that out.
Absolutely, and that's why you always hustle out of the box no matter how hard you hit it. Evans making the right call to slide in head first at first base. You don't typically see that. The Beavers just being caught a little bit off guard, not being in the right position, possibly not communicating correctly to be able to get that out. So Evans, despite not hitting that ball hard, getting on base.
Absolutely. And Connor Flavin now up here to bat, the first baseman. Connor Flavin in this game so far, 0 for 2. So we got 1 runner on first base.
Flavin, one of the 2 Jumbos hitters last night to hit a 3-run bomb.
Yeah, Flavin has been really, really great all year. 264 batting average. 1-1 count here. So Malone misses low, and Noon tries to get Evans out there at first base, but he's able to get back just in time. Good opportunity here for Malone to make sure that the Babson Beavers actually have a, only 1-run deficit to surmount. Not give up any additional runs here. Make their task as easy as possible. And he hits that ball. Foul. Sounds like it hit a car, unfortunately.
Yeah, and don't be fooled. At the get, sometimes the people in charge of the sound effects, when a foul ball is hitting a car's direction, will play a sound of broken glass and a car siren.
And Noon throws to second base to try to get Evans out, and he is safe.
Yeah.
And a very successful steal there by Jimmy Evans to get in the scoring position, and Noon made the play look really close there at second base, but Evans had a really nice lead there at first base, so he was able to get in there with not too much effort required.
Yeah, I'd say the throw from Noon looked pretty in time. It was just a little bit offline, allowed Evans to slide in safely.
Yeah, and he perfectly timed his slide also, so that was good base running on his part. For ball 1, right there. Is Clay Sewell now up to bat. And it hit him. And it hit Clay Sewell, and Clay Sewell gets to take first base. You have 2 runners on base now, 1 at first, 1 at second. Now you have Ben Leonard coming up now, left fielder. Once again, a great opportunity, as in the previous inning. The Jumbos have a great opportunity here to extend their lead from run and give themselves some insurance runs. Give Donato some space to get into a groove. It's a high foul ball out of the park. Ben Leonard in the game so far, 0 for 3. Well, with the new picture, an opportunity here to come in clutch, increase the Jumbos' lead from 3 to 2. And another foul ball that Leonard hits in a similar direction. Runners at first and second here, 0-2 count. And he hits the ball, and it gets to the third baseman. Oh, it gets past him. And he gets to throw it into home plate, and he scores. And Jimmy Evans is able to score at home plate. and the Jumbos have now restored their 2-run advantage to make it 4-2 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. As that was a really clutch hit there by Ben Leonard, really clutch single there to bring Jimmy Evans home from second base. And now the Jumbos are in a much better position than they were earlier.
Yeah, we're not exactly seeing the pitcher's duel that we saw for the first 5 innings of this game, where there was only one frame with runs scored. That was 2 runs by the Jumbos against either of the starters. Right now, runs have been scored in 4 consecutive frames. The Jumbos once again restoring their 2-run lead. This time, they're up 4-2.
Absolutely, and just a really clutch hit there by Ben Leonard, as he's been doing really all year long. And now the catcher Connor Bowman out to bat, trying to extend the 2-run lead even further.
Yeah, it was really only a matter of time. The Jumbos really starting to get the bats going in this game, up to 7 hits on the day.
Absolutely, and to your point earlier, the starting pitcher is really definitely was a pitching duel between the two of them, but the bullpen pitchers have had some troubles on both sides, keeping the run totals where they are. And he misses just narrowly.
Yeah, it really speaks to how commendable those starting pitching performances were for both teams, because so far the bullpens have struggled in this game.
Yeah, they have, and with 2 runners on base, Connor Bowman has a great opportunity here. With a really good pitch there, Malone, to make the count 2-1.
Yeah, it was really no guarantee for either starter, given their experience this season, for them to be able to have long outings, but both of them did put together 5 innings, or just about, and put their team in a position where they wouldn't have to rely on their bullpens, which have been a little bit shaky today.
Certainly they did, and he just totally blew that ball right past Connor Bowman for the strike. The 2-2 count now. Great opportunity here for Malone to get a strikeout, get it down to 2 outs. Doesn't want to get another runner on base, doesn't want to load the bases at all. And just a fantastic strikeout there by Malone. Really good pitch there, high up on the strike zone. And now there are 2 outs in the inning for Patrick Solomon to come up to bat. Patrick Solomon in this game so far, he's 1 for 3. And he'll have to wait a little bit as the catcher wants to talk it over with Malone. Ryan Noon wants to make sure that he and Malone are on the right page, wants to make sure that he's able to get out of this inning, not making the Jumbos lead any more than 2 runs. 2 runs is manageable. Any more than that, it gets harder, considering how good the Jumbos pitching has been.
Yeah. We saw Solomon try to bunt for a base hit in his last at-bat, but was thrown out. I think with 2 outs here, it's pretty safe to say he won't be trying that.
Yeah, I think that's something to bet on for sure. Close pitch there by Malone, but caught a ball, 1-0. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. And misses high. Solomon being patient. Trying to make Malone make sure he hits the strike zone. 2 outs here. And that's a really good pitch there by Malone.
Completely agree.
2-1 count here, 2 outs. And that breaking ball just narrowly misses it. The 3-1 count now. Very close to potentially loading the bases here is Malone. And he hits the ball, and what a fantastic catch there by Savage. Savage is able to end the inning with one of the best defensive plays we've seen in this game so far. And we'll get you to the top of the 8th right after this. That's for the Tufts Jumbos right here. Ozzie Fleischer, the shortstop, is up to bat. 0 for 1 in the game. And down and low for ball 2.
Yeah, so we apologize if you weren't able to see the last half inning. If you missed it, Connor Pedezwa pitched for the Jumbos and got a scoreless inning of relief.
And the first baseman, Basil, is able to make the out on the high fly foul ball there by Fleischer.
So now Babson facing only their last, or having only 3 outs remaining in this game for them to cut into the Jumbos' lead, looking to respond with a good relief outing for once from their sophomore relief pitcher, Luke McClintock, who right now has a 0-0 record, so no wins, no losses. A 3.52 ERA, which is very respectable through 7 innings, not 7 innings of work, 7 relief appearances.
Absolutely, and it should be interesting to see how the Tufts Jumbos are able to, as Ben Fleckner hits the ball up to the pitcher and throws at the Basil for the out. That's 2 outs in the inning. As Jesse McCullough now comes up to bat. 0 for 2 in the game so far. Yeah, no, you definitely make good points. I'll be interested to see how, if the Tufts Jumbos are able to give themselves any more insurance runs here. I mean, 2 outs, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but it certainly make their pitcher's life a lot easier.
Yeah, right now McClintock getting 2 quick outs. Exactly what Babson needs, but hopefully it's not too late for them.
McClintock narrowly misses there. Yeah, absolutely. He's been doing so far exactly what you want a relief pitcher to do. And misses low. Ball 3. Good count here for Fleckner to potentially get a ball right down the middle. Get himself on base. And Fleckner threw the bat and thought that was ball 4, but instead it's 3-1, and he's going to have to do it all over again.
Yeah, we've seen some similar reactions by batters from both teams tonight when a pitch is thrown.
Fleckner hits the ball to Perkle. Perkle to Basil at first base, and he's able to get the out there. And we'll come back to you at the top of the 9th. The Tufts Jumbos trying to close out the victory in a couple minutes. Welcome back here to the top of the 9th inning as the Tufts Jumbles have put in a new pitcher here, number 13, Brendan McFall, 1.13 ERA in the year. He's having a very good year as a relief pitcher, as a closer. As the Tufts Jumbles try to close out this victory here over the Babson Beavers.
Yeah, and very good would be an understatement to describe the type of season McFall is having as the closer for the Jumbos. He's only allowed 2 runs in 1 outing so far this season. The rest have been scoreless, and that was an outing where he mysteriously had to pitch for 2 2/3 innings. So right now, with only 3 outs to get, I think that there's a very good chance that the Jumbos walk away from this game with a victory. Right now, holding on to a 2-run lead.
I think so too, with Jack Perkle, the number 9 hitter, up to bat right now. And he checks his swing, but he was not able to keep himself from going around, and it's a 1-2 count here.
Yeah, and from this angle, which is a pretty good angle, I think I totally agree with the umpire's call there.
And he gets Perkle swinging there, does McFall. Quick 1 out so far. And now we're up at the top of the order again with number 29, Patrick Manning, up to bat. Patrick Manning in the game so far, 1 for 3. If the Beavers, you have to think, are going to start a comeback, it's going to start with the top of their order hitters.
Absolutely.
As Manning there has to move out of the batter's box a little bit to avoid the low pitch there from McFall for ball 1. One out. As he hits the ball to McCullough to Flavin, and he is safe and just narrowly gets into first base for the single there, does Manning. And he really showed off his speed there, as he showed off at several other points in this game so far. Great first opportunity here for the Beavers to start a rally in this game.
Yeah, the Beavers really caught a break on that ball, not hit very hard by Manning. Just eluded the second baseman, McCullough, since the ball just fell not quite where he was. McCullough having to track over and try to make an off-balance throw, which didn't arrive in time to the first baseman, Flavin. So now run around and 1 out.
And he just blows that one right past Basil for strike 2, and McFall now trying to bounce back off of the previous single. Misses low. 1-2. Yeah, if you're a McFall, that has to be frustrating because he's pitched pretty well so far, but if he's able to get the strikeout here or an out here, he'll have to feel pretty good about himself. And he hits the ball up to Flavin. Flavin to McFall.
And they'll get the out
and
right
he's
there.
Able to get the out. Another narrow play at first base there. But it results in 2 outs now, and Brant Savage now up to bat. The Babson Beavers trying to hanging on to their last grasp of hope in this game. As Manning gets to second base, trying to bring him in desperately.
Fun fact, just looking at this stat sheet, through 16 innings of work, McFall has not allowed an extra base hit this season.
That's quite an incredible statistic. Shows you how dominant he's been in closing these games out for the Tufts Jumbo. It's been a huge part of the reason why they've been so successful so far this year. 0-1 count here, 2 outs. Manning taking a pretty large lead at second base. McFall hits a foul ball.
Almost hits our cameraman David Lathan, but
David's
he
able
was
to get out of
very
the
alert
way.
to it, got out of the way.
No issue there for him. As McFall needs 1 more strike to end this game here and add another victory into the win columns for the Jumbos. Manning at second. 0-2 count. And McFall narrowly missed that there. 1-2 count.
Yeah, and I think if there's anything that statistic tells you, it's that Babson will have to put together a string of hits if they want to get to McFall with only 1 out remaining for them.
1-2, 2 outs. And McFall once again, ball 2, giving Babson some life here.
And that pitch for sure was a very close one. All eyes on the umpire who made the ball call.
Savage doing a pretty good job at staying disciplined at the plate, making McFall deliver him strikes. McFall, and he hits the ball at the Fleischer. Fleischer to Flavin for the out. And the Tufts Jumbos pull out another fantastic win on the second night of a back-to-back. Their 7th straight win overall over the Babson Beavers, 4-2. Great pitching performance by Brown. Great hitting by Evans and a few others. And Ethan, any last-minute thoughts on the game before we close out?
I think it was great to see Gavin Brown get his best pitching performance of the season. That was 5 scoreless innings. Really did a favor for the Jumbos, who weren't as strong with the bullpen performances, but shut the door in the 8th and 9th innings.
Absolutely. A really fantastic win here in the cold of Wednesday night in April. And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.